Mabuhay mga Spartans! My name is Elisha Mejias from grade 11 section Love, and today I am going to be presenting to you my individual PIT report about fake news. So, before we're going to dive into the discussion, these would be our following objectives in this video presentation, where we are going to dissect the three forms of fake news, where it is misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation. Then we are going to be applying fact checking and verification techniques, and finally promoting a responsible sharing of information. So, di ba, we often hear fake news all around us, especially here in the Philippines. But did you know it has different kinds of flavors? Some are honest mistakes, some are deliberate lies, and some use the truth to hurt people. In our digital kapitbahayan, being smart isn't just about getting the latest gadget. It's about knowing how to spot the truth directly. So as we dive into this anatomy of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, let's learn how to be responsible digital citizens. So, first, we begin with the most sinister category. By definition, we have here disinformation. Disinformation is basically a false information, of course, that is actually deliberately created and spread to deceive or cause harm. It is not an accident. It is a weaponized lie that is designed to manipulate public opinion or profit from chaos. So so mao maura gyud ni sa atong tuyok-tuyok sa atong utok. It's a deliberate trap. So ang yang common purposes here, it is to manipulate opinions again, manipulating opinions, creating fear or confusion, and influence politics or society. I am going to show you an example here in this slide. So we have here case study number 1, the DSWD Ayuda scams. So as seen in our first exhibit, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or as we know, DSWD, has had to repeatedly warn the public about the viral messages promising fake cash aid. These posts are perfectly crafted disinformation. Why? Kasi they use official government logos, formal languages, and the promise of financial relief to lure vulnerable citizens into clicking phishing links. So the ayuda didn't really exist at all. The malice in this information is that it is an intent to steal one's personal data or financial information from people who are often in desperate need. This is a cold, calculated operation that preys on hope. So, pait kayo ni siya paminawon because it really targeted those who have the least in their life. So, next, in this case study number 2, the coordinate search for Duterte. As we see here in this photo, moving into the political sphere, we look at the disinformation surge surrounding high-profile political figures, such as former President Duterte. As documented in our examples, coordinated narratives often flood social media to sway public sentiment during legal or political crisis. These are not organic opinions. They are information operations, where bot farms and paid trolls distribute fabricated stories to protect a specific interest. The intent here is to drown out objective truths with a tsunami of manufactured support. So, yes. Mm. Next, we examine the next type of fake news, which is misinformation. Well, disinformation itself is still false. It differs from disinformation because there is technically no intent to harm. Misinformation is often shared by people who genuinely believe they are helping. In the Philippines, this is they call this the most common form of information disorder, often fueled by our marites culture and the genuine desire to warn our barkada or kana mga neighbors nato sad. So, if ever we're going to see those people we see outside near our house, we're going to know for sure they are spreading false misinformation. So, what are the causes to why this often happens? The causes here is the lack of fact checking, misunderstanding, and they share too quickly. Now, the next slide here, we can see that in this exhibit highlights a common phenomenon. So, the super typhoon warnings or earthquake footage shared out of context. For instance, during the recent tremors here in Mindanao, TikTok was flooded with terrifying videos of buildings collapsing. But we all know that it isn't really true because if we don't really search it up or verify if it is true, then we do not know for sure that it really happened here in the Philippines, specifically here in Mindanao. That's why when CheckPH found out that many of these clips were actually from the 2024 earthquake in Japan. So the video is real, but its location and time are false. So when a person sharing a misinformation news in your family group chat isn't really a troll, they are worried for example, some they would be worried about our safety, of course, since it is true. They share it because they want you to be safe. Na balaka ra gyud sila lang, but they didn't really verify the information first. So the danger in this, despite the good intent, misinformation creates mass panic and clogs communication channels, making it harder for actual emergency responders to get accurate news to the public. And then finally, and perhaps the more complex of the category is malinformation. This information is based on reality, but is used out of context to inflict harm on a person, a specific organization perhaps, or country. It is the weaponization of the truth. Kini tinod ni pero gigamit para mangdaot. So examples like these are like leaking private messages, sharing personal photos without consent, and then releasing confidential information. So, next slide. We can see here our exhibit shows the Presidential Communication Office or PCO warning against deepfake videos of President Marcos Jr. While deepfakes themselves are fabricated, they often fall into the realm of malformation. Why? Because when they use a person's real image, real voice, or real private moments to humiliate them or ruin their reputation. In summary, it uses a person's actual identity but for malicious purposes behind it. So, in its context, it moves private information into the public sphere to destroy a career or a life. So, in the Philippines, this is a very direct violation of the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Sharing a true private message or true embarrassing photo of someone to shame them is not reporting news. It is an act of digital violence. It is an act where dili na na news pero nang bully na na. So how do we prevent this? How do we fight back? So we have here fact checking and verification. The Pinoy Toolkit. So number 1, vetting the source or the sino ba to siya. So before believing bitaw in a post, make sure to check the page. Does it have a blue mark bakaha? Was it created just last month? If it's a blog like newsbreakpatriot123.com, it's likely not a professional news organization. Number 2, cross-referencing with local fact-checkers. We are lucky to have organizations like Check.ph and Vera Files. These are groups of Filipinos, journalists, who do nothing but debunk viral lies. If you aren't sure about a claim, search the topic plus the word Vera Files to see if they're correct. Did someone post a photo of a massive crowd claiming it happened a rally in Manila yesterday? Just use Google Lens because you can find that the photo was actually taken in Brazil, baka in 2008. Fake news often recycles old photos to create a false sense of momentum. Since we are discussing this within the framework of media information literacy, we have to move beyond the reading and start analyzing. MIL teaches us to that all media messages are constructed with a purpose. To meet our objective of applying verification techniques, let's use the 3 core pillars of MIL. So, number 1, we have critical thinking, the skeptic's filter. We apply the 5 core concepts. So, who created this message? What creative technique are used to attract my attention? And how might different people understand this message differently? Technically, three, I mean. Media and then second, media verification or the SIF method. To apply our second objective, fact-checking, we use the SIF technique, a staple in MIL curriculum. So, S meaning to stop. So, first, check your emotions. If a post is about a Philippine politician that makes you feel gigil, extremely angry, or baka excited, your critical thinking is being bypassed. So, next, letter I, investigate the source. So don't just look at the name of the page. Look for the blue badge. Or check if the website baka has a history of parody or satire. Next is letter F. Find the better coverage. So use lateral reading. So first open a new tab and then search for the same news on established Philippine news sites like GMA News baka, ABS-CBN News, or PNA. If only one obscure blog is reporting it, it's likely false or fake. And then finally, the letter T, trace claims back to the original source. This is very important because if a post, for example, if a post says the president said this, look for the actual video of the speech. Don't rely on the quote card that might be taken out of context. Number 3, information ethics or the kapwa responsibility. MIL isn't just about what you know, it's about what you do. Our third objective is to promote responsible sharing. Excuse me. Contextualization. In the Philippines, we often forward as received. In MIL, this is considered poor information hygiene. And then, ethics of sharing. Before you click share, you must remember you must act as a gatekeeper. If you share malinformation, like a leaked private video of a classmate, for example, you are violating the Data Privacy Act of 2012 and failing as a media literate individual. Now, as we are about to end our video presentation, how are we going to promote responsible sharing? So, as a student in USDP, we are to present or represent the future of science and technology. We shouldn't just be users of technology, we should be its masters. Char. So, responsible sharing in the Philippines means breaking the copy paste culture. We love to forward it as received, but we must stop. My call to action to you: pause before you post first. Because if it makes you extremely angry or sad or hurt or excited, that's a sign you are being manipulated. Correct with kindness. If your lolo, or example ba, if your lolo or lola shares misinformation in the family GC, don't ignore it. Just politely send them a link to a factual article. And then finally, think of the kapwa. Sharing a lie doesn't just affect you, it affects our democracy, our public health, and our history. So, this is the end of my presentation for my PIT individual report for MIL. So thank you so much for listening to this video presentation, and I hope to see you again next time.